Einstein says energy can never be destroyed. Similarly, the energy that we carry within us, be it emotional energy, mental energy, physical energy, they can never be destroyed. Heart speaks all the time. It never stops talking to us. You watch the thoughts of your mind and feelings of your heart as you're in a restaurant, for example, or you are in your class in a college, or you're in a movie theater, or you're traveling by plane or a train. Observe your thoughts and feelings at every little thing that's happening inside you. When your friends are talking, when there is some sort of a discussion happening at home, or you're in a plane and you happen to see someone and you're attracted or disgusted because of whatever may have happened around them. So there is always a feeling of likes or dislikes. And who concludes these likes and dislikes? Always your heart. Always. I would like to share this one particular experience. If you see my studio here, the walls are colored with crayons used by my granddaughter. She's hardly 2.5 years old now. She brought in the same crayon in my bedroom and she was about to start her favorite violet crayon color and start painting my bed. The moment I entered the bedroom, she saw me, made eye contact, lowered her eyes, and walked out quietly. So, heart always gives signals. Even a 2.5-year-old little girl can understand. Even though none of us prevented her, that's why we see all these crayons around. But when she was doing it on my bed, she somehow intuitively felt, I shouldn't be doing this. How are you feeling at the moment? Not just passing of thoughts, but your inner nuances, how peaceful you are, how calm you are, how still you are, how happy you are, how joyful you are, how blissful you are. See, there is a whole spectrum of all these things. Most people cannot differentiate, even literally, the nuances between happiness, joy, bliss. But if we continue to pay attention, we may not know the words, but you will be able to say this is lighter, this is grosser, this is mediocre. Similarly, if you are feeling sad, find the spectrum of the sadness. My comment here is feeling good or bad, not only on the part of this physical body, but this settling and unsettling goes on at a mental, emotional, and spiritual level as well. That gives us the idea that when mind is settled on the body versus when mind is settled on, let us say, my emotional needs or my mental needs or my spiritual craving. That's why these words of pleasure, joy, bliss, these are different phases of happiness. The way we are identifying ourselves, how our mind settles. If it settles on the bodily requirement, sensual desires, we call it pleasures. When emotionally we are satisfied, we become ecstatic, joyful. When spiritual things are fulfilled, we feel at peace, we feel calm, we feel at bliss. So, identification of our mind with all these planes creates a different states. It's are given different words. Only now we can understand the true and the meaning behind the pleasure, joy, bliss, peace, calmness. Okay. When you receive a nice chocolate, that's a pleasure. When somebody cracks a joke, there's a lot of joy because it affects you at a mental level. Chocolate affects you and, makes your taste buds happy. So we use the word pleasure. When something excites you mentally and you keep thinking about a joke, even in the bathroom when you're alone, you'll think of the joke and laugh alone, right? That's joy. But when your heart is melting away and you're in a totally carefree state, that's bliss. And that is triggered by grace. Nothing is comparable in this world. When grace touches the heart, you see the clear difference between pleasures, joys, and bliss. One is able to differentiate, though we all understand these words. We are all familiar with pleasures. Joys, we sometimes misunderstand it and mix it up with pleasures. What about bliss? Have you ever experienced bliss? Meditation makes it possible to experience bliss, and if you're fortunate, you can even transcend bliss and go to those sources where from the bliss emanates. Because during meditation, our neural network has a different role to play. It works differently. Like a person may be under absolute stress, but if a capable guide is there to take this person's consciousness and change it, make it calmer, make it peaceful, more enjoyable, then you can see the levels of oxytocin, for example, or serotonin or melatonin, and reduction in cortisol, adrenaline. All these stress hormones can come down, joy giving or happiness giving hormones can go up. These are all measurable these days. I was reading Gita, one sloka that came up, and the end of the sloka, Lord Krishna asked this question: can there be happiness without peace? It's not possible. And before that, he asked the question: is peace possible without contemplative mind? Is contemplative mind possible without focus? And is focused mind possible without meditation? So now you can connect the link between focused mind, meditation, contemplative mind, peace, and happiness. When you forget the very root of our existence, the mental balance, how to sharpen our mind and heart, if this is not done, if there is no synchronicity, resonance between the heart and the mind, you will be like a lost bird, a bird without a tail. It can fly and fly and fly, with two wings in all directions. But without this tail giving the directions, what will become of that bird? And so of a human being. You can move from this powerhouse to this water house to this social club to this water or blood campaign. What are you trying to achieve? Even if you may succeed in all these fields, but fail at an individual level in attaining what minimal in Hinduism we call it as liberation. If that is missed out, then what is the point of success in this world? That does not mean that we should not pursue all that. We have to pursue. But making the activities, like you are arranging for a blood donation drive, or water system that you are trying to install, or you're trying to invite a lot of tourists through your company, great. But if we can spiritualize all these materialistic activities, that you are doing all this while thinking of the Lord, that I am doing all this in the service of God. In Sufism, they call all your activities you should do with dhikr, under constant remembrance. When you are restless to serve God, and through this restless attitude, that you are so restless to serve God, and while having this restlessness, you are also serving the humanity as if you are serving God, then you will have no problems doing whatsoever you like, partaking food, spending time with family, spending time with community, spending time with your bosses. It doesn't become a small task. Everything becomes spiritual in the process. It depends on us, how we filter our thoughts and ideas and feelings. You see, energy, Einstein says energy can never be destroyed. Similarly, the energy that we carry within us, be it emotional energy, mental energy, physical energy, they can never be destroyed. If you are angry for a moment, will it be destroyed? No. But if you remain prayerful while you are angry, if you close your eyes for a few moments, if you can manage to during your angry spell, then that very anger will change its face. It will become more compassion. It will turn into love. And say, why was I getting angry? So anger changes its face just because you waited for some time and became something transformative, not only for yourself, but for others as well. And no ability or no training can be given to a person who is not receptive, interested enough what is being taught, and also not fully aware. Can you teach a person who is asleep? You can't. We are awake. We have open eyes. But awareness is lacking. Sometimes, your professor is teaching you something and you are daydreaming and your mind is somewhere. That means you are not aware at that moment. Your attention is elsewhere. And can anyone teach us everything in one go? Or even little by little, little by little? But life throws many challenges. In examinations, when we were studying in colleges and schools, often the questions that were asked were something that you never had studied or referred to in the books. How would you answer those questions which are not in the books? Life is also like that. Everything in life that we go through, it's not written in books. Every day there is a new challenge. That's why many people who are very successful academically, they goof up in real life examinations. You see, they don't know how to clear those life tests. Only way to solve situations in day-to-day life is to become sensitive to what's happening inside and outside, become aware of the situation, and remain meditative and see how the answers unfold in you. And then use those answers. Otherwise, something can go wrong of which you have never been given the education. You don't know how to even behave with your own sister or brother or your spouse. How are you going to tackle the unknown individuals that we meet every single day? So we have to become aware from inside. Awareness is the key. And this awareness becomes sharper and sharper as we meditate more and more.
Between routines and responsibilities, the presence of God quietly waits. Click on the video to explore how spirituality can bring meaning to even the simplest moments.